Welcome back to Cozy Corners, a place where we turn your house into a home. Step into a world of home decor ideas, interior design inspirations, landscaping guide, and home design tips. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and join our journey into a world of charm and sophistication. A small space that feels expensive without expensive things. A small home can feel quietly magnificent when everything inside it has room to breathe, a touch to savor, and a story to tell. It's not about buying more, but about seeing more, light bending across a soft wall, a pause between colors, a table that gathers laughter like a jewel. In the gentle order of a tiny space, there's a kind of dignity that money can't buy, just the calm beauty of living well, right where you are. There's something magical about a living room that tricks you into thinking it's bigger than it actually is. It's never just about furniture placement, it's about rhythm and air. When you let the eye travel without interruption, your brain reads space where there isn't much square footage. That's why low-profile sofas, wall-mounted lights, and one continuous rug can do more than another mirror ever could. They make the room breathe. The secret isn't adding, it's removing visual stops. The single idea here is continuity, treat surfaces, colors, and sightlines as one flowing thought. Ever walked into a small room and just felt soft? That's not size speaking, it's tone. Calm, muted colors whisper of ease, which our minds often translate as luxury. When there's no chaos in sight, we assume someone took the time to think it through, and that assumption feels expensive. Colors like foggy grays, taupe, or dusty sage don't scream for attention, which is exactly why they hold it. Luxury, after all, is about control. The principle here is restraint, the confidence to use less saturation to gain more harmony. Lighting is where cheap mistakes show first, and clever layering hides them. You don't need pricey fixtures. You need contrast and direction. A single ceiling light flattens everything, while small, warm pools of light create moments of intimacy. Think of your room as a small stage. Ambient lighting sets the mood, task lights tell the story, and accent lights frame the scene. When you combine them gently, the smallest studio starts to glow like an evening in a boutique hotel. The principle here is hierarchy. Light should guide emotion, not just vision. Small dining areas often end up being more memorable than large ones because they naturally pull people closer, literally and emotionally. In a tight corner, conversation feels private. Laughter echoes softer, like a secret between friends. You can lean into that intimacy with textures that invite touch. Rattan, linen, unfinished wood, materials that feel honest and human. Instead of fighting the limits, glorify them. The principle here is proximity, design that celebrates togetherness instead of apologizing for scale. Open shelving gets a bad reputation because people treat it like storage, not storytelling. But in a small kitchen, those few visible feet can change everything about how expensive the space feels. Don't fill them, compose them. Repeat colors, vary heights, and leave breathing space between objects so your eye can rest. What you're really styling isn't the shelf, it's the negative space around it. The principle is editing, knowing what to leave out is the real luxury. When a small bedroom feels rich, it's often because your senses are being tricked through touch, not sight. A slubby linen duvet, a woven headboard, or a matte wall finish all send subtle tactile cues that whisper, "This was chosen." The body loves variation. The skin notices texture before the eyes notice size. That's why even a neutral, minimal room can feel indulgent if it sounds soft and feels grounded. The guiding principle here is sensory layering. Let materials do the talking when space cannot. In the open layouts of small apartments, privacy is less about barriers and more about perception. You don't need partitions. You need cues that tell your brain where one moment ends and another begins. Maybe the rug shifts under your feet, or the scent changes from kitchen spices to linen spray near the bed. Curtains, light shifts, or a change in texture can signal transition. You're choreographing boundaries, not building them. The principle here is zoning, defining experiences through subtle sensory divides. The richest interiors often have one thing in common: emptiness. Space left intentionally blank suggests confidence, like a pause in conversation that doesn't need filling. In small homes, this restraint feels paradoxically lavish because we expect clutter, and its absence feels rare. When your eye can rest, the brain interprets calm as control. That perceived control translates to sophistication. The core principle here is balance, designing not to fill but to frame what matters. Mirrors can feel desperate when they shout, "See, this room's bigger." But when used with intention, angled to catch light, framed like art, they stop mimicking space and start complementing it. The trick is reflection as atmosphere, not illusion. Maybe it doubles your favorite plant or subtly extends a sunset glow. That's elegance without shouting. The principle here is subtlety. Mirrors shouldn't announce what they're doing. They should make the room feel quietly aware of itself. Even in a micro apartment, the moment you step inside can define the entire perception of worth. A small entry, well-lit and organized, signals care. A messy one broadcasts neglect. Humans scan for cues of order before comfort. It's a survival instinct. So a tray for keys, a scent that greets you, or a soft mat underfoot tells your brain you've arrived somewhere considered. The design principle here is sequence, shaping first impressions through a deliberate start to your spatial story. when storage looks like it belongs, the whole space feels custom, which reads as expensive. Built-ins are great, but even open boxes can look high-end if they seem part of a rhythm. Same tone, same alignment, same respect for shadow. The trick is to make practicality aesthetic. A shelf that floats at eye level, baskets that share a silhouette, or hidden compartments that slide satisfyingly. These details whisper craftsmanship. The guiding principle here is integration, blending functions so well it feels like form. If you found delight in this video, please press that thumbs up. Until we meet again, keep sprinkling joy in your spaces, and remember, we're just a click away. Drop a comment down below. Tell us what other architectural marvels should we check out. Stay creative and happy decorating.